Alright, so make sure that you have your sheet out from the other day, finding A and C. And on this sheet you were supposed to kind of work through this and find the A value and the C value. And today we're going to try to help you out with finding what the B value is. Okay, so let's go back and make sure we're clear on the A and C. So the C value, remember, is your y-intercept. So it is 2 because our y-intercept is 0, 2. So the C value is 2. All right, now the A value, we want to make sure that our changes are all 1 over here, because if they're not 1, we'll do something different. We're not going to work on that right now, but we will talk to you about that in the future. Alright, and then if you look over here on the right side, you've got to find your first difference. If your first difference was all the same, we'd go, alright, this is linear. Let's stop right here, it's linear. Alright, they're not all the same though. Since they are all the same for the second difference, they're all 10, we know it's quadratic, and to find the A value, all we've got to do is take that 10 and divide it by 2 factorial. And that equals 5. And a lot of you are like, oh, Mr. Dodge, 2 factorial. 2 factorial equals 2, alright? But it's 2 factorial because 2 factorial is 2 times 1, which equals 2. Right? So even though they equal the same thing, 2 factorial, it's different than just saying 2. Alright? Even though they have the same value. Right? So that's the A and the C. Right? In order to find the B value, it's not as simple as going, alright, well, it's 10, or it's 5, or it's 2, or it's whatever. Alright? What we've got to do is we've got to look at the standard form equation. So let's look at the standard form equation right here of f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And what we're going to do is we are going to plug in values for f of x, a, x, and c, and just be left with b so we can solve it for b. Alright? So let's plug in these values. The 2 is going to go in for c, so underneath the c put a 2. Alright? Underneath the a put a 5. Underneath the f of x and the x's, this is where it gets a little bit complicated. You got to pick a coordinate up here to plug in. Now the one coordinate you don't ever want to plug in is 0, 2 or 0 whatever, okay? Because if you plug a 0 in for x, 0 times b will be 0 and the b will be gone. We won't be able to solve for it, okay? So it's got to be a number other than 0. The easiest number is usually 1, because 1 squared is 1, and then 1 times b is just b, so 1 makes things the easiest. You can do it with a different number like 2, 3, 4, 5. In fact, we'll show you on the next one how you can do that. Alright, but if you don't need to, I would always use the coordinate 1, whatever. Okay, so I'm going to plug the 7 in for f of x. I'm going to plug the 1 in for the x and the x squared. And I'm going to plug the 1 in for the x that comes after b. Alright, so it should look like that, which we've got right here on our paper. Okay. Now, if you notice, we've just got one variable. We can solve this for b. Alright, let's make sure that we solve it simply though. A lot of people want to put 25 right here because they're like, alright, 5 times 1 is 5, squared is 25. That is not 25 though. You got to do the exponent first. 1 squared is 1, 1 times 5 is 5. Alright, so just bring down the 5. Alright, 1 times b is just b, so it's just going to be plus b plus 2. Now we can simplify this. 7 equals 5 plus 2 is 7 plus b. I hope a lot of you are going, oh, I know what b is, I know what b is. Right? You subtract 7 on both sides, and you get 0 equals b. So in this case, b is 0. Right? It's not always going to be 0. Alright, but in this case, b does equal out to 0. There's a few steps here. I would show that work. If you want to do it on a separate sheet of paper, that's fine. But what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to pause the video right here. I'd like you to try this next one, and then come back and see our answer. And yeah. Alright, so if you haven't paused it, pause it real quick because I'm going to take you through this next one. So the next one, I'm going to pick a different coordinate. I'm going to pick 223. And I'm going to say, I'm still going to write down my f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. This is our standard form. And I'm going to plug in my 4 for a, my 7 for c. I'm going to plug my 23 in for f of x. I'm going to plug my 2 in for x. And then I'm just going to simplify it. 2 squared is 4, and 4 times 4 is 16. All right. If you multiply these first together to get 8 and then got squared, it would be 64. That's not correct. You've got to do the square first. All right. And then plus 2b plus 7, and that's going to equal 23.